get to some good news, bad news, because there are some things that could affect how we look further into the NFL season. We're going to get there's already odds up for next year.
Oh, of course there are.
There's already odds up for next year. These are things in which we bet. I understand if you don't want to lock up money for 11 months. I get it. But some of these things, you can find value. Yeah,
you
can get some value.
Get the Chiefs at 9-1 right now to win the Super Bowl next year.
There you go. You have to assume they're just going to back up the Brinks truck to T. Higgins. If they don't do it,
overhaul on the offensive side.
Just give T. Higgins whatever he asked for.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. We'll go over those odds.
But seriously.
Someone on this set may have already bet Chiefs 9-1 next year.
Let's go ahead and get into this here. So 4 head coaching vacancies have been filled. We know that Jim Harbaugh is going to be going to the Chargers, that Brian Callahan is going to the Titans, Raheem Morris is headed to the Falcons, and Dave Canales is headed to the Panthers. Does any of this move the meter for you? Let's start with the most obvious one in Harbaugh going to the Chargers. He's stepping into a good situation. Anytime you can step into a top, let's be conservative and say top 8 quarterback in the NFL, you're already starting ahead of most people out there. You still will have Keenan Allen, though. At this point, we probably have to assume there's going to be at least a little decline on his career because once wide receivers hit that age, that certainly happens. Eckler's going to be out of town. They almost got rid of him last offseason. Doesn't really matter. Well, they'll figure out something on that side. But on the defensive side, they have some good pieces as well. We know they've got guys at all 3 levels that can make plays. And herein comes Harbaugh, probably the most disappointing team of the last 5 years.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
Easily the most disappointing team in the last 5 years. I think this is a good hire because one of the biggest problems in the Los Angeles Chargers locker room and throughout that entire building is culture. They have struggled with culture for the last 3-4 years where you just don't have a disciplined team. You don't have a team that seems to be on the same page. That is what Jim Harbaugh is very, very good at. He is going to come in there and he is going to be a phenomenal culture coach for them. He is going to turn that around in the building immediately. There's some holes in this lineup. They're getting old. You mentioned Eckler. You mentioned Keenan Allen on the outside. Mike Williams, who knows what you're going to get from him because of all the injuries. It looks like you missed on Quentin Johnston, who came in there from TCU as the rookie wide receiver. So you've got some pieces you have to build, but you've got that quarterback. And to me, that is the biggest difference. I think this is a home run for the Chargers. They needed this type of coach who can come in there and just change that building into a winning mentality versus really what's been a losing mentality for the last 2 decades.
When you've been well coached and you have a big time quarterback, good things can just happen no matter what. Look no further than Joe Burrow's rookie year in Cincinnati. There was not a lot around him.
No.
That rookie year there in Cincinnati, they were still able to have some success because, again, really good quarterback, good coaching staff was able to get something out of him. Look at the Texans this year. You come in, everyone expected, okay, 5 wins, 4 wins, 5 wins. Quarterback, great quarterback play, good coaching. They end up in the playoffs. Like, there's a lot that they can build around there. And you look on the defensive side of the ball, too. And this is like one of the things that I think that people don't talk about quite enough because when you have Herbert, like that's obviously going to be the focal point. But you got Derwin James and you got Bosa and you got Samuel at corner. And you got these guys out there that Khalil Mack, you have players on the defensive side, too, which is so weird that they were horrible considering Staley was supposed to be a defensive guru.
For the last 2 years, they've been awful with talent over there.
Just ridiculous. Like, Staley was supposed to be this defensive guru.
Yeah, everyone's like blaming him for going for it on 4th down. Like, fix the defense!
Yeah. That's what you should be screaming about. Like, he was supposed to be a defensive genius. Like, that was the whole reason he was hired. So, yeah, there are a lot of things, I think, to be looking at here. The only problem is, obviously, is you playing a division with the GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, that's you look at the Antonio Pierce hiring here now. It's Reed, it's Harbaugh, it's Peyton, and it's Antonio Pierce.
Yeah.
That's pretty tough. But when you look at these other hirings, look, I thought this was a really good job by the NFL front offices to bring in who they brought in. You see 2 younger offensive-minded guys, and Brian Callahan and Dave Canales come in for the Titans and for the Panthers. I think the Panthers probably would have liked to make a bigger splash, but no one wanted that job.
No one wanted that job.
So you're not getting
No one wants to play with that owner.
No. So you're not getting a Vrabel. You're not getting a Belichick there. And I think the Falcons dodged a bullet by not getting Bill Belichick.
You and me both.
I think Raheem Morris is a good hire there. You're going to need a good OC.
It's like a 3-year rental, basically, if you hire Belichick. I mean, he's in his 70s. I mean, it's eventually he's going to go. Eventually, he's just going to go, I got the record, I'm out. Like, I got the coach, I got the win record, I'm out.
It felt like he wanted more control there, too. Because you had all this momentum for him going to the Falcons, and then you heard the rumor that he wanted to make it Belichick and friends. And he wanted to bring back Max Patricia and all his guys, right? I don't think the Falcons wanted that, and I think if that's what Belichick said, I need to be able to bring my friends with me if I'm taking this job, they dodged a major bullet, because this would have been a team that would have disappointed for the next couple of years with that coaching staff.
If we take a look on the Falcons roster here, if I had an inkling they would figure out something to do at quarterback,
Justin Fields,
I'd already bet them for this division, because if you look, they have by far the most talent. Now they have a player-friendly coach come in because the players did not like Art Smith. They figured it out about halfway through the season that he didn't know what he was doing, and you could just see at times those players just didn't really want to go out there and play for him. And now you inherit pretty good talent on the defensive side of the ball, really good talent on the offensive side of the ball, outside of the quarterback position. Can they get someone in there to play consistent? If that's, I mean, I'm telling you, I will come hard on this, like to put money on. I mean, like anywhere I can go, I'll fly to Denver, I'll fly to Phoenix. I'm going to go everywhere to get as much down as I can on the Falcons to win this division, because from a talent perspective, they're head and shoulders above all these other teams.
Oh, they are. Yeah. They have to address the quarterback position. And I don't see how you don't. Look, you knew this was your downfall all year. You switched to Taylor Heineke twice this season. Not once, but twice you had to switch to Taylor Heineke. You've got to go address this in the offseason. You've got to go get a quarterback. And you've got a lot of guys on rookie deals. You've got a running back on a rookie deal, a tight end on a rookie deal, a wide receiver on a rookie deal, both your cornerbacks on rookie deals. You have the money to go get a quarterback. You have the assets to go trade for a quarterback. Trade your first-round pick for Justin Fields, Atlanta. Just telling you, that's what you should be doing right now. But will they do it? I know. I think they make a move at quarterback. I think you have to address that. I agree with you. If you look around this division, Carolina's not good. I don't trust Tampa's going to be as good this year, next year as they were this year. You have no idea what the Baker plan is. They lost their OC. And then you look at the Saints. They decided to keep their head coach, who's awful. Yeah. So, sign me up for Atlanta.
Yeah, I know. It's even if they were like, you know what? What if they came in? What if Kirk Cousins? Like, what if they went?
Kirk Cousins is staying in Minnesota. I'm 100% on that train. He wants to be there.
But you'd bet the hell out of the Falcons if he was going to Atlanta, though.
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, that would be like in an instant.
Massive.
In an instant.
That would be massive.
But that's the thing. It's like you always talk about, okay, well, who can they get? It's not easy to get a good quarterback. And really, Cousins is your only good free agent quarterback. I mean, like, what about the Falcons with Joe Flacco? You interested?
Probably.
But I mean,
probably.
He's an upgrade.
I mean, yeah. Oh, he's big time upgrade. Yeah. He can at least get the ball to the. I mean, that's the thing. He can at least get the ball to the receivers. We'd mentioned a little bit about Belichick. I think he sits out a year. It doesn't look like he's going to land in Seattle or in Washington. They're holding out for one of these coordinators that are still left in the playoffs. And so with all of that, it seems like he's going to be sitting out. And honestly, I just don't know if there's going to be a ton of teams that are super interested in Belichick at this point. Again, like, the writing's on the wall. He's only coming back because he wants the all-time coaching record and the all-time wins record. Do you want to rent a Belichick? I don't want to rent a Belichick.
The only scenario I want to rent a Belichick is that's what I'm missing. If I'm missing the head coach. And maybe the Buffalo Bills say, we're missing the head coach. And that team, okay, that makes sense to me. You already have a quarterback. You already have the offense figured out. You've already got a decent defense.
And by the time he's ready to retire, you're probably going to have to overhaul the roster anyway. Because
that makes sense to me. Someone like Atlanta doesn't really make a ton of sense to me, because it's not like the coach was the problem. It was the quarterback that was the problem, and then everything else around it in that organization. I could, like, the Seattle job made more sense to me just because it is more of a ready fit, but I don't think Seattle wants to hire Belichick after just having Carroll there.
Yeah, it is something else for sure.
Go to VSiN.com/subscribe to become a VSiN Pro subscriber today.